It's Friday, and I'm walking around my high performing perfect unit with a clipboard. And here's a little bit of what I'm experiencing right now. What I see is a place that's thriving. I see a place that's offering service to all ages, literally from the womb to the tomb. So for individuals who have not even been born yet, there is a in utero ministry where individuals who have never given birth are supported like never before. Individuals who planned to have children and individuals who did not plan to have children alike are provided resources, care, support to come alongside them as they go through one of the most incredibly miraculous journeys of their lives. And from there, we move right into, now, let me not skip over. See, we're the kind of organization right now that carries out life as it is. And so meeting people where they are, whether they are in a nice, neat, and beautiful area, or whether they're in a rather messy and rather complex area, we're right there. And so even in that in utero ministry, there are folks that are there to help hold hands and to lock arms and to do life with individuals, whether it's a planned situation or unplanned situation. We are there all the way through. And then obviously for children and for youth and for singles, for marrieds, for individuals, all the way up to when it's time to transition. At each phase of an individual's life, there is something for them that would allow for them to experience the love of Christ and the caring compassion of individuals who want to come alongside them and help them navigate life. The organization is caring, it is compassionate, it is real. It does not duck its head in the sand from the tough conversations, but it also has the ability to set a standard in a loving fashion. Now, it's not for everybody. This is a Bible-believing, God-honoring, God-pleasing organization. And so we recognize that in order for us to be what we believe God is calling us to be, that we've got to have a unique grasp on what's happening from an historical as well as a current and a future perspective. And so what we believe this organization looks like right now, one that has embraced its history, but not at the expense of the future. And so it looks like a very caring, a very compassionate, a very informed, a very, how should we say, engaged organization that is not satisfied with singing a few songs on Sunday, that is not satisfied with just collecting people's hard-earned money in the form of offerings. It's not just satisfied with having some cookouts here and there, but prides itself on getting into the very tough issues of life to live and experience with people so that they can actually know that whether you have the kind of family that you think you should have, or whether you have the kind of experience you think you should have, or whether you have the kind of money you think you should have, whatever you have in this life, or whatever you don't have in this life, what you will have in this organization in its present state is one where individuals are determined to meet you where you are, but never leave you there, and to continue moving forward together, getting through the tough issues of life, getting through the challenging circumstances of life, and never leaving someone behind, right? It's about caring, it's about being involved. And then the things that I hear in this organization is I hear laughter, I hear conversations, I hear the sound of caring, I hear tears, I hear learning, I hear hope is what I hear. I hear the soundtrack of life that is playing from its highest pinnacles of success and joy and happiness all the way through to the lowest circumstances that individuals can find themselves in. And they see this place as literally a center of hope, a center of love, a center of care, a center of peace, where they can come and experience life a little bit differently, where it's not leading with judgment, but it's leading with joy and curiosity and locking arms together. I hear visitors saying things like, I've never been to a place like this. I hear visitors saying when they experience our environment that this is a different kind of place. They see the issues that are going on today, and they see all of the challenges, but they have a hope and they have a joy that's almost inexplainable. And so it drew me in, and I wanted to learn more. I hear visitors saying, I want more of what these folks have. They come from different backgrounds. They come from different experiences. They're older, they're younger, they're black, they're white, they're Hispanic, they're Asian, they're Latin, they're whatever the background culturally, ethnically, racially, financially, whatever the background is, they seem to rally around a common cause, and they're not afraid to speak out when justice is being compromised. True justice is being compromised, they're on the spot. But they also celebrate when individuals do things the right way. And so there's this balance and there's this tension that's acknowledged, and it is lived into to the fullest. That's what I hear visitors saying. We had someone visit us recently from the media in this current state, 3 years in the future. And what they wrote was that they experienced something different, that they were looking for something to critique, but what they actually found was something that they themselves had to acknowledge was just a little different. And what they wrote about was the fact that instead of this being a place where individuals came and were taken advantage of, what they found were that individuals kept reporting over and over that they were on their last leg, and they were in a space where they didn't quite know what to do. And they found not only hope and not only intangible things present, but they also found tangible programs. They found tangible information. They found a tangible strategies that allow for them to work hard, yes, but to get themselves into a better space. And so the media was writing about that for our organization. The kind of comments that our staff makes around the water cooler is interesting. Usually, I'll start with some of our worship leaders and individuals who usually, because of their gifts and talents, are taken advantage of in spaces. But when I came here about 7 years ago, I said there's got to be a standard in place that anyone who comes in with a gift and a talent, I don't care if it's the accountants and the CPAs and the bookkeepers, I don't care if it's individuals who have gifts and talents for the arts and singing and worship leaders, I don't care if it's the technical people, the camera folks, the folks that we agree and enter into payment relationships with, vendors included, we will pay them according to the best that we can with regard to our budget and our capability. We will pay them 2 ways, on time and in full, so that we can honor the gifts and talents that God placed inside of them, letting them know that we consider them to be image bearers, and we are not going to take advantage of them. We are not going to use them and string them along, taking advantage of their skills, gifts, and talents, while at the same time neglecting to compensate them fairly and appropriately for the talents that they bring to help us grow our kingdom objectives. And so our team members, our staff, they have water cooler conversations that give us the due credit for making sure that we set a standard and we keep a standard, that we ensure that we treat them the way we ourselves would want to be treated. And so the buzz in the organization that's going on right now is that we have a holistic approach, and that they notice that there are some ministries or churches or faith-based institutions that kind of just work in one lane. Like they find themselves being limited and they can only operate with the community in one way. Well, for us, we want to hit you wherever you are, and we want you to get better. We work from a faith perspective. We work from a family and friends perspective. We work from a financial perspective. How can we help you improve instead of you going broke, giving us your money so that we can barely get by? We want to take biblical concepts and build a reality that's different, that says, hey, listen, we're going to take all of our resources and we're going to pool them, and we're going to do things like we got a chance to start a year or so ago with our education phase, and we have our daycare, and we're ready to move into the next phase of our elementary school education thrust. And we ultimately want to find ourselves with a high school and a college preparedness, as well as a skills-based education that allows for individuals to thrive wherever they find themselves, whether they want to go on to higher education or whether they have a relevant skill that matches the needs in our society and in the near future. We have that phase, and then we're pooling our resources now and gathering individuals who have banking and financial skills so that we can have a community credit union. So the buzz is that this place is not like the normal ministry or faith-based institution, but they're looking at the holistic health of their constituents and their community. Our organization is used by many. We have after-school programs. We have job preparedness programs. We have financial literacy programs. We have programs that help individuals who are transitioning from being in the foster care system. We believe that we don't have to necessarily start every program, but if we don't start it, we partner with individuals and provide strategic resources, tangible resources in the form of brick and mortar equity. We believe that and are operating under the principle that our building should not just jump on Sundays, the traditional day of worship, but that Monday through Sunday, there should be activities that point us towards helping individuals. And so our organization is used by many in the community from various backgrounds and various experiences. You don't have to believe before you can belong to us. Like, we believe that you can belong before you believe. And that is something a little different, that it's not always neat. It's not always without some chaotic moments, but we honestly believe that individuals who get closer will benefit from the principles that we believe we should be living under. And so the organization is used by many in our community. Then day to day, I started off as what they called a bivocational pastor 7 years ago, and have progressively worked my way into a space where now I have the opportunity to not have to have as many outside jobs. So I have more free time because the principles that I'm living by, praise God, I've had the ability to apply to my own life. And so I'm able to walk in a level of financial independence that affords me the opportunity to be able to see day to day what's happening. And the organization is running based on largely volunteers. We have a very small group of paid staff because we want to leverage giving and the resources that we have to the fullest capability. So we like to have a different approach. We believe that we can get more out of our volunteers and out of individuals who are passionate about what we're doing, as opposed to attempting to just have a incredibly large staff. We believe the fewer the better, and we are running very, very efficiently day to day with individuals who are largely volunteers and a very small paid staff. So we have built progressively over the last several years processes and practices that allow for us to fully utilize volunteers a little more strategically. And every day I could be doing something totally different. There is, for me personally, it could be doing public speaking in different environments throughout the week to build relationships with other organizations. Or it could be a day for me could be me meeting with strategic partners, the leaders of community organizations that would allow for us to do work. It could look like myself looking and leveraging financiers' relationships to help us better fine-tune our future plans so that we continue to grow, and that every single day there's different things going on to help the different channels that we believe we are called to develop to be a blessing to our community members and our constituents. And so every day is a little bit different, but it all drives the core principles of having a place where people can come and they can get better. In fact, that's one of our taglines, is better together. We believe that when we come together, there is strength in numbers and there's power in numbers. And so as we come together, we are better because of it. Then when you look at our finances, what you're going to see is a lot of struggle in the beginning, but progressively, as we've practiced what we've preached, we've given sacrificially, we've been great stewards over what we've had, we've seen individuals come, we've seen giving go higher and higher. And when we see people trusting us enough right now to feel like they can give to us, I think that is reinforced simply because of strategies like we talked about from a staffing perspective. We could send our costs through the roof by doing a lot of unnecessary hiring, but because we've taken the time to leverage some of my human resources background and other models that we've seen, people trust us more and more. And so as they trust us, we're able to pool our resources. As we pool our resources, we believe in taking advantage of investing our talents and our financial resources in places that would give us a greater return. That as we are a practical blessing to individuals and they continue to tell others, we see our organization's financials trending in a positive way. Again, not just from us begging for individuals to give us funds, but because we've become an economic engine unto ourselves, where we're leveraging our relationships, bringing in experts that are talking with families who otherwise might not have access to such information. And it's allowing for them to make tangible impacts on their lives and their families' lives, and most importantly, their legacy. So the information that's normally reserved for individuals that are operating with much more access to information, and it's just kind of it's been around in their family and they just kind of operate there naturally. We are driven and passionate about providing that to the person that generally does not have access to that. And because of that, we just kind of keep reaping blessings. And we take that approach to not just take folks' money without giving them a tangible benefit that would allow for us all to get better together. And so our funding comes through several sources. It comes through giving, the free will offerings that individuals give. But then from there, as we have made wise investments, we want to not be in a position where we have to depend on the giving of individuals. We believe that good stewardship includes giving, but what we want individuals to see is that as we pool our resources, again, we are better together. When we pool our resources, we can get further faster, and it allows for us to make strategic placements. We've made some early investments in real estate that are allowing us to do some different types of ministry with regard to folks that are in need. But also, we are in a for-profit mode, because part of that economic engine is tapping into industries that are going to be here, and making sure that we put ourselves in a positive position. And we've started on that track. We're not where we're going to be yet, but we're much further than what we started off. So here's our chief goal, is just not to be dependent on giving. We want to have giving be a part of the picture, but then let folks see that as we do that we put ourselves in a position to be able to pool and to be strategic and to be able to grow our resources so that we're not just dependent on the week-to-week giving. And then our core values are being realized within our staff, because we believe that as we follow the principles that are laid out from a biblical perspective, that's what's going to work best. And so what we're able to do is get so granular in teaching and training and following up. We believe that the Bible speaks to so many areas of our lives that generally don't get explored enough in a sustained fashion, that we don't eat. Like, God has something to say about your finances. He has something to say about your health and wellness. He has something to say about your relations. He has something to say about every dimension of our being. But if we aren't being diligent and if we aren't being disciplined, come on, think about anything that you have to work to achieve. If you're like me and you were once overweight and you had to work hard to get to a place where you were in better health, it didn't come overnight at the snap of a finger. It came because there was sustained, continuous, day after day, week after week. No, was it perfect? Absolutely not. But did you and I find ourselves, if you're blessed to be someone who has accomplished a long-term goal that requires you keeping your hands on the plow continuously, if you're like me, you had to do that day after day, week after week, month after month, and this is part of our core values. Now our staff got to benefit first because they came in when we were small and when we didn't have a lot of resources, and they believed, and they gave of their time, they gave of their talent, they gave of their treasure, and then they began to see and experience what I see and experience. And as we keep growing, we don't die, we multiply. And what happens is, the more of us that get into that disciplined state, that get into that space where is everything perfect? By no means. This life is going to have challenges. Just go ahead and get ready for it now. What we're saying is, when we have those challenges, because we're together, because we're looking at God's best for our lives, we find ourselves in a space where we can do things better. And those core values of unity, those core values of biblical principles, those core values of operating in joy, those core values of operating in peace, those core values of treating every human being as an image bearer who is created in the image and likeness of God, those core values of caring and sharing, all of those core values are ones that we believe in and ones that we are bringing to pass even now. And so a picture 3 years from now, today, looks totally different than what it did 3 years ago, or 6 years ago, 7 years ago. We find ourselves now walking out the things that we were believing for yesterday, and we invite you to join us.